He'll come over and get it. Are we live right now? We live?
On which one?
How's everybody doing? Welcome. We got to push the IG button, bro. So if you can't get the push. Oh, you got to come on in. Welcome, everybody. This is our what? 21st?
23, my
23? Yeah, we're going.
Why are we still counting? That's the question.
We
got to.
Because you want to get to your anniversary.
We,
you know what I'm saying?
we on a lot now.
When you get to 100,
We on a lot
that
of them now.
anniversary?
Yeah.
What's
We
the
on a lot of
actual
them.
anniversary though?
I would say like 50. You think 50
What up?
50 would be a anniversary? 50 is a lot, yo.
Yeah.
50 is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. What's up? Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Podcast Head.
What up?
Bang, 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 baby.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
What's
D Glenn in the
on?
building, baby.
Oh yeah, this is Jody, your one and only.
We live.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What's up, IG, YouTube,
Yes,
All
sir.
that.
TikTok, the whole kit and caboodle.
It's been a
In
little
the
bit, right?
building, in the building. Well, we had Christmas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's
There's
been
been a
just,
lot going on. See how we in our
bit.
Christmas attire. We had to, you know.
Yeah.
We
I don't know about y'all, but I look pregnant in mine. I gotta get this. I gotta get this.
Suck it in, Larry.
I suck it in. Look, I got gas. I got gas.
Suck it in, Larry.
What's going on, everybody? If you coming through here on IG, TikTok, YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in right now. You're rocking with your boy on my, what is this, my right?
Yeah. Bros, you know what it is.
In the middle right here, you got Solo Swang. Pause on that.
This is your boy Jody, one and only.
And this is B Glenn, the infamous. Welcome back for Thriller Thursday.
Oh
Yeah.
Thriller Thursday. Happy holidays. We came back from Christmas. As you can see, we got our Christmas outfit on thanks
You know what
to
I'm saying?
Rooted in the more.
Yeah.
More.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you, miss.
Got us up
Yes,
here
God.
looking fresh and fly,
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
indeed.
fresh and clean.
What we do, baby, is what we do.
Hey, B did that joke one time, but you corrected it though. Who did somebody say something to you?
What?
With that, like when you said the rooted in the more joint one time, you was like rooted in armor.
I did.
But then, like I noticed, like after that, you said more. So I was like, did somebody say something?
Yeah.
Behind the
My
scenes.
wife said something to me. So I messed up. My bad.
Nah, that sounds good. That shit was funny though.
Yeah.
So, first, let's what did you guys do for Christmas?
Our family, man. We kicked it at the crib. My wife's father came down from Connecticut, and you know what I'm saying, she cooked, did her thing with the joint. Yeah, she cooked mac and cheese, smothered chicken,
That sounds good.
pot roast over rice with and what else she had cooked, man? Oh, she cooked that infamous honey butter cornbread. You know what I'm saying?
She went in.
Y'all was eating good in the neighborhood.
She went in.
2 pies, 2 cheesecake joints, cherry cheesecake joints, you know?
Dang,
Yeah, man.
good.
We still
Man,
finishing them
That's
joints
what's
off.
up. That's what's up.
Yeah, but it was good, man. Kids got what they got a lot, man. Look,
I can't read.
kids got a whole bunch of toys. And my son, he got a tablet, got a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? But it was good, man. It was a good time with family and playing games and stuff. Oh, y'all got a VR headset? Anybody got a VR headset?
Yeah, it was like that. It was like that.
That joint like that. Yeah. That joint like that, you know.
So I have to say this. I gotta give mad love and respect to my brother all the way to the left, Beaglin. Me, him and his sons and my sons, we went to Redskins Well, not Redskins. Sorry,
The Commanders.
the Commanders.
Yeah.
The Commanders
Yeah, the
football game.
Mhm.
That was actually my first time ever going to an actual NFL game.
Football game.
Yeah, actually NFL game, and it was rather interesting and crazy.
Yeah.
Somebody got tackled. You remember that beat?
Cold.
Yo, he was running across and he got straight tackled. You remember that? Derek that got tackled. I
No,
thought
this
that
wasn't
was,
a player. This wasn't a
no,
player.
this was a fan. A fan running across, and everybody was like, "Oh!" Everybody stood up and saw him get tackled. And then what was crazy is that they started applauding because he got tackled.
Oh,
Yeah.
so he ran on the field.
Yeah.
Yo, what security got him?
Yeah, you would think they would get. You would think that they would boo him, right? Like because they tackled him, they applauded.
Yeah.
Because the dude did an actual football NFL tackle. He was like, "Ugh," he dived in for him.
Hey,
I was like, yo.
he was like, this is my chance. I'm about to get my contract right now.
That joke was funny. I thought that just happened on TV. Well, I guess it is TV.
Yeah,
That's what it was on. I guess.
Yeah.
that's what's up, man. Did they win? Did they win? Nigga?
Nah, man, they got cheated. We're not gonna go into all the logistics.
No.
Let me say this: if y'all really want to know who a true fan is, that Joker right there.
Yeah.
That Joker was cursing, mad. The sad thing about it, this is the funny thing. This is the funny thing, y'all. My man is a referee. So he's calling ref plays, and everybody is looking at him like he's making sense. Because he's making actual referee calls. He's not making like fan calls. He making referee calls.
Was he doing the hand signals? We have holding number 42.
I mean, he
Offense.
knew the actual calls. I'm sitting there looking at this dude like, he a referee. You know he a ref. And then what's crazy is that as soon as they call it, as soon as he calls it, they call it exactly how he calls it. So I'm just sitting there looking at him like, I mean, just had to just watch him, not the ref there on the field.
All right.
But that definitely was a good time, man.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's
Yeah.
what's up. What about you, Joe?
Oh, I had a wonderful time. Visit the kids, chill with the girl. We had a good time.
That's what's up, man.
Sure.
Got drunk.
Simple,
Got tipsy. You know, that's what it's all about. It's all about the kids, man. Christmas is all about kids. I had fun though. I enjoyed myself.
I actually didn't have mine. Mine was gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mine was gone. So hope they had a good Christmas.
Oh,
Hope they had a good, which I think they probably did. You know.
yeah. What's up? B?
But
Hey,
yeah, B. What about
So
you?
they had that burner going.
yeah,
Yeah,
man. I
always.
put some ribs in the smoker. You know what I'm saying? Smoked me some ribs. And
Speaking of that, do you have any leftover ribs?
I ain't got none, bro. None.
Look.
None. But
Look, this is the platform, man. You got to bring that Johnson taste test.
And they'll be snapped.
I started to cook on the grill for y'all cats before y'all came down, but it just got a little dark, a little early. And
Oh, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, look, not for nothing. B, you like the best host. You know what I'm saying? Like he be
Appreciate
even when we went to Jody house, yeah, he came down, you know what I'm saying? We went to where Jody stay at. We had what was it? No. That
He
was
had oatmeal. He had
the cookies and everything.
He had oatmeal cookies,
One thing
snacks,
for sure, two things for certain. When you with me, we gonna eat. Because that's what I do.
grapes,
Yeah.
oatmeal snacks, chips, peanuts. Pause on that. He had everything. I mean, he's a walking vault of food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let me say this too on the record. If you don't know a good restaurant or a good hole in the wall, ask that Negro. He knows every hole in the wall. And he's like, you gotta try this. He's like, where is this spot at?
Speaking of that, we're gonna start doing some YouTube content where we're gonna be visiting some places and eating. So make sure y'all check us out when we do that.
Right.
It's gonna be
Some
so
good times.
Right.
But
Yeah.
well, let's jump into it, man. I mean, because it's 8:23, 23rd show, getting ready to go into 2023. So, bros, strike up the band. Let's get the first hot topic.
Also, just what I want to say before we get into that too. We do understand that we have guests that want to come up, so do not go nowhere. We are going to add you up. So please know that, we're going to add you up. So just stay tuned for that.
So, also too, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we said this yet, but everybody that's tuning in, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the hearts, hit the subscribes. If you want to get the full experience, head on over to our YouTube page. We live over there. So yeah, we'll bring y'all up on multiple platforms. But yeah, You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
All right. So this first topic, a former state correctional officer allegedly assaulted at least 22 female inmates. Now, we know.
Say that again. What happened?
Is a former state correctional officer allegedly assaulted at least 22 female inmates. So there's a whole article on this, but I'm not gonna read the whole joint. But you know, we can. I don't even really think we need to read between the lines. It's like it's there. You know what I'm saying? So
what does he do? How does she insult them?
I mean, how do you know what I'm saying?
Because insult can be a lot of different things.
No, not insult, assault.
I mean, assault. So,
yeah. So,
like verbal assault?
No,
physical assault?
physical, like physical. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of inmates.
Yeah.
She's mad.
Yeah, I was talking.
I mean, is that a female or a guy? I said a man?
Female.
It's an assumption. Like I can pull up the article, but yeah, as a matter of fact, let me just pull that.
Because why would a man assault him? I think he would do more than just be assaulting.
Yeah, but assault can mean a number of things, right? It can be verbal, it can be fondling. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but they would say.
Let me just put this on the record.
That might just put assault just to
let me just put this on the record.
The whole,
I mean,
you know.
Let me just put this on the record.
You tell him, Sholo.
I don't want to be locked up, but if I'm locked up and I got a female officer if it's a female officer that's going, just you can not verbally, you can physically assault me.
I really knew where you was going.
Because you said it.
I mean, that's why I said. I mean, I would think.
Be careful what you ask.
I would think if it's.
That's why I said I'm not. That's why I said I'm not.
I would think if there's a lot of women and it's a male, person that does it. I think they would actually be wanting that. I don't know. Just like Solo said, I mean, I don't know. I think
what man would not want to be locked up for 20 some years, and you get sexually assaulted by somebody who's sexy?
Yeah,
it's not gonna be assault. It's gonna be
they're gonna tell on
God.
You. Exactly. Are they gonna tell on you?
I've been waiting this for 20 years.
But not everybody, right? Like there's, you know what I'm saying? You can. I mean, even if you locked up, there's still violation is violation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just can't see no brother talk about I need to write a complaint.
Yeah.
This lady who been assaulting me. What has she been doing? She been trying to touch me in the places I don't like.
Would they touched in years. Think they would even believe you? They be like, man, stop playing, man. Get the heck away from here, man. Actually, the other inmates might get mad at you. Like,
exactly.
did you just tell?
You messed up the whole thing for everybody else.
Now they covering their cells every time they walk in here, man.
I feel dirty.
Go get the soap and the sock.
Yeah, man.
The sock.
Are you snitching?
A lot. I feel violated.
But now it's a real thing though, right? I mean, obviously somebody said something.
I think it has something to do with it sounds like a racial thing, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You think so?
Why do you think
20 some people? 20 people? You doing it? It's got to be racial. That's got to be a racial thing.
A racial thing? But I don't know.
But nah, man, I think I don't necessarily think it's racial. I just think it's, you know, just a person, individual. You know what I'm saying? Because I would bet that it's probably some, and it go ways, right? I bet it's some male and female, probably correctional officers that just want to do it, just want to do that.
You think they feeling it? They shaking. They like. I think I want to. I don't know. I would think if I mean it happens.
Like picture.
Okay, let's say this. Let's say
we got a comment on IG from Erica Tizeno. Thank you for joining, sweetheart. Appreciate you jumping in tonight. She said it does happen though, and they have crooked officers in prison who does things like that.
Yeah, and that's where I was going with it too. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't put it past someone who is, let's say a rapist, right? Because
they in there.
You until you get caught, right? So it's possible for a correctional officer to be a rapist and to specifically go after a job like that.
No,
You don't think so?
There's an extensive background check. Not a rapist. If you convicted of rape, you're not
convicted. I'm just saying
you just had those qualities.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Okay, I thought you
traits
were talking about.
before
Okay,
you even get in
yeah.
there.
I thought you were talking about like actually being convicted
No.
of rape.
There's guys in there that have they have turned like to that. Yeah, they're not always rapists. Yeah, you're right. They've been in it for so long that they have not seen a woman, so they find themselves, gravitating to whatever's close to them in that facility. You know what I'm saying? So, that's tough. I mean, but I couldn't see an officer molesting.
What?
No, I'm saying I couldn't see an officer molesting an inmate. I could see an inmate molesting an officer.
Yeah, you can.
No,
what?
Yeah, no,
I mean, have you ever seen
man to man?
Obviously,
man to man, woman to woman,
man,
woman. Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, I don't see the number being higher. You feel
have you seen Orange Is the New Black?
What?
Yeah, I have seen that. That is actually interesting.
Man, hey,
the Spanish lady who's dating the officer, she had yams.
Yeah, it could be women, man, woman, and they all do it.
No, but what I'm saying is that
this is what I would say.
I feel like certain locations, not for everybody, but I feel like inmates control the actual.
No. In the criminal justice system, this is what I always say to people: you have to have a life outside of that.
Okay.
If you do not have because
it'll consume you.
There it is.
Yeah.
It will consume you so much where you find yourself being actually
feeling like an inmate.
Exactly. Wow. And then starting to like one, you know what I mean? And then and I will tell you this, is a lot of people that lose their livelihood because of they don't control their emotions when it comes to working in
lose their job, lose everything.
They use everything. And that's what I'm saying. If you do not have a life outside of the criminal justice system, that will happen.
Yeah.
Period.
And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I would think that it would be more inmates, wanting to, draw that in versus it being, because you gotta think they not wanting to lose their job.
I got a comment. Erica Zeno said, oh yes, women officers do it too, and exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they definitely do. Yeah.
It's woman, yeah, they do it all the time.
That's what we're talking about right now. A women officer doing this to other women.
So let's say this then, and I'm gonna go further. Then why do they do it? What is the reason? What do y'all think the reasons are?
What are we talking about? The officer doing it to the
officer or inmate officer. What will be some of the reasons they will like? Okay, we know they're incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
So why go down that road?
I mean, I agree, but it's like it could be a number of reasons. It could be physical attraction, right? You could be in.
So there's nobody in the street that you physically attracted to.
It just depends. It depends on the person, right? Because you got women and you got men that write these, inmates in jail, right? They out on the outside. There's plenty of dudes out here.
Well,
right?
Have y'all ever seen Love After Lockup? I say it every show.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So what's your intake on?
So it's actually an episode now where there's a female who was like a nurse in the jails.
Mm-hmm.
And she hooked up with this one dude who's in the jail, and she's moving all the way like to another state just so she can be with him when he get out.
Right.
But he done overdosed in jail.
Wow.
So who knows when he gonna get out now, and he's got a drug problem. So it's like,
right.
That's a prime example right there.
Yeah, we got comments
with an inmate.
We got comments. Erica, Tyler speaks for me. Hey, what's going on? Happy holidays.
Speaks for me.
Happy holidays to you, girl. Erica Tazino said multiple reasons could be they not getting attention from their mate at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest reasons.
Or they don't have a mate at home.
Or they don't have one at home.
You got some people who are a little weird that, or not necessarily say weird, let's say not social. So they don't have a social life outside of it. So the jail is their social life,
right?
And they can talk to these people any way they want to.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them feel special. Like I can talk to you like trash. You ain't gonna say nothing to because you need me,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like you need me. I can give you extra this or extra that, or let you go out. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So
and once you get out, guess what? You're gonna rely on me,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna rely on me for everything. That means you ain't going nowhere,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
True that.
So. There's a lot of reasons, man. It's a whole
bunch
of reasons, man.
Yeah.
But I still think it's dudes It's tough. I mean, because you don't want to judge them because they're locked up. But I mean, if they got like 10, 15, 20 years, I mean, come on.
I mean, but if you think about it, it ain't just got to be sexually either. It can be just abusive. I mean, I've heard stories where, you know what I'm saying, they get a cat down and they take phone books and beat them with the books so it don't leave a mark and stuff. So I mean, it's a lot of abuse. But, you know.
Yes, it's one.
I pray that I never have to go and deal with that. I'm telling you that.
Deal with what?
With jail. I never want to go there.
Oh, as a worker or as an actual inmate?
As an actual inmate.
I know,
you
right?
You don't want to go there to either one, actually.
As an actual inmate, boy, I tell you.
Inmate or worker, I don't think it's a great place, period. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it'll humble you, it'll make you really think about and appreciate what you have on the outside. Whether if you working, and what's crazy is that what I have noticed with not just inmates but officers that work on the outside, they seem very depressed. And this is what's crazy. This may sound crazy, but they turn into alcoholics.
You mean the officers?
Yes, because of the stress,
the stuff that they see.
Yeah,
on the job.
and a lot of them hide too because they're not out in the public because they, you know, a lot of people that may be locked up can see them. So if you're that officer where you're not welcome or liked and you're out in the public, they're gonna be like, oh, that's the dude right there that, you know, did this to me, A, B, and C. So
well, I think that goes back to you have to have a life outside of the job. Of course we're gonna say that's for any job, but working 12 hours, working long hours at a prison, you have to have a life outside of that, and that's where your partner come into play as well. Who your partner is coming to play as well,
right?
Because you already in a negative environment, and then to come home and not have peace, you got to come home to that joy and that happiness.
Right.
Yeah. We got one comment. Ercino said, "I heard it's the worst place to be."
I mean, but I got a lot of respect for the officers, man. I mean, you know, having, you know, COs having to do that job, it's got to be a tough job. But you know who else I got a lot of respect for, man? And I actually applied to be a firefighter one time, man. I was going through the process of Fairfax County, and man, like now that, you know, through the grace of God, through the grace of God, I wasn't put in that position to do that type of job. And I'm like, how would I really deal with it? Do you realize all the stuff you have to deal with being a firefighter, bro?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, can you imagine? Not just that, can you imagine the stress you put on not just yourself but your family?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Especially if you got kids young. You know, you got a family and you out, you know, you spending a lot of time trying to save other lives that you can't even save your own family. You can't even save your own house.
And that's the part where I don't like about, you know, these type of jobs all the way around, is the fact that your family suffers in a way. It don't matter any way, shape, or form. You can try your best. The family will suffer in some type of way.
Yep.
And the other thing I wanted to say about the prisons and stuff like that is, I the one thing I like, well, to comment on what you said, B, I am pro the good officers, the good correctional, and you know what I'm saying, because they ain't all good, but but also like I like when they do those programs where they take kids at, you know, at that particular age group, you know, like 10 to 14, scared straight, and they take them in and they let them see
what it's like,
the inside of the prison, because you know what I'm saying, like I went through, it wasn't a scared straight, like I wasn't no bad, it was just like something that it was through my church, right? And then we went to the jail and they just took us through the jail to go see what it was like down in Fairfax County. And it's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? They in there yelling and screaming, and one dude in his cell, he had the glass, they had him behind the glass and stuff. He took a dump in his thing and threw his his poop at the door. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
my father actually works in the prison for Fairfax County, and he says the hardest thing is when he sees family members in there, because you can't hug them, you can't touch them, you can't do anything because that's your job. There's a line that separates you.
That's
so. And the sad thing about it is, he says the amount of family members he may come across, and there are people that he's known and be like, man, they in there, and it changes your mindset on how you see things. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my cousins that you guys do know, his brother was in there, and he saw him, and my cousin said, "Hey, Unc," like this, and went to hug him, and they forgot. And my dad said that like troubled him because he hasn't seen him in so long that he wanted to hug him.
Right.
He was like, "What do you do now? Now I gotta, I gotta look at you as an inmate in here and not my family.
Got to separate.
You get what I'm saying? So when I heard that, I was just like, that's tough because it's like, how do you handle that when you in that position? You know what I mean? You're now he's a number. You know what I mean? And you can't even, you know what I mean? You can see him, but you could see that he's alive. You could tell people, hey, I know where he's at. He's okay, but at the same time, it's just I don't wish that place on anybody. I don't care. Like I understand what B was saying. Like he commends them, and I understand where you're coming from about the good art, the good ones, because I feel like if you're going to do that job like Jody did, and I always said Jody would be a good correctional officer because he knows both ends. He has street smarts as well as business smarts. So he knows the other side of having friends or family in that type of cycle. You get what I'm saying? So he knows how to maneuver there and know how to like relate, talk to people and things like that. So he would be the officer that people would look for advice, look for help, look for questions, answers. You know what I'm saying? To where he's not the bad officer. He's not the officer. Oh, here come Officer Jody. Don't nobody want, you know what I'm saying? He's the one where they're like, oh, they probably can't wait for him to come to work because they realize their day is going to be lighter and probably better. And people don't realize a lot of the times it's the officers that make the whole prison work good, smoothly. Right. You know what I'm saying? If you have a bad officer in there, then 9 times out of 10, the person that's going to react to it is going to be the inmate. They're going to be like, you know what, he up in here. Let's go ahead and, one person shut the whole place down because of that one officer coming on site. Right. People don't realize. I mean, am I wrong, Jody, on that?
No, you're right. You're right. We got some comments. Erica Tazino said, same thing with working in the medical field. She said, I've been a nursing assistant for years. I experienced the good and the bad.
True that.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Yeah, being a nurse, and thank you for your
services.
Exactly, because Lord knows nurses was definitely needed going through this COVID crap, and continue to be needed. Forever will be needed.
Yeah, what's crazy? So with that topic right there with the COVID thing, does it feel like it was a dream to y'all? Like it was like
no. What you mean a dream?
Okay, so the reason why I say that
it was all a dream.
The reason why I say that is because it is. I was watching some YouTube videos and how, the date, it was like if you could tell the video, you could tell it was COVID because of if it was 2020, you already know it was 2020, the video 2020, they started mentioning a lot of that. Like, hey, we're here live, but if you wherever you are, just know that you got to stay 20 feet away. And I'm like, God dang it, like. Is this what? I'd realized that it was like I keep forgetting that was a time where we had to wear masks, like what I mean, like it was crazy. To where now it just feels like it's not, it was like it happened, but it's like, dang, that really happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Kind of like 9/11. 9/11 right now is like a memory or a dream. You like if I don't know if y'all remember when 9/11 happened, that jump was crazy. That was thank God we don't always have those type of situations, in America.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Yeah, man.
Right. So moving on, switching into this next topic here. B sent this one. He sent this one in. This is men being too emotional. You want to elaborate on that, B? Because that being too emotional can mean a number of different things. But when you sent that, like what was you?
So my thought process on men being too emotional is because, not because, but do you feel that a man can be too emotional? Like, say for instance, I put it to you just like this. I watched the show you told me to watch the other day, From Scratch.
Yeah,
on Netflix. Y'all check it out if you want. I put it to you like this. It was a tearjerker. And I find myself as I've gotten older, you know what I'm saying? I start to like get a little like teary-eyed and stuff because a lot of times, just relate to things, or you sympathetic to the fact. And I know it's just a movie.
They killed Ricky. They shot him.
Maybe not that, but like I told you, you know what I'm saying? Like 7 pounds, you know what I'm saying? Just to see when people are going through like life situations, and it's like, dang, you just feel for them, you know?
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, don't laugh at me, because I was about to.
You cried on Beauty and the Beast.
No, I was gonna say no. I was gonna say this. There are some kid movies out that are tearjerkers. No, like not those per se, but like if it has anything, I would say this. Anything that has anything to do with y'all funny. There you go. Anything that has something to do with culture. What I mean by that is that they have a lot of new kid movies that are gearing to other cultures. Like whether if it's Japan or if it's like, you know, especially you see a lot of Spanish movies coming out right now.
Okay.
Or what is it? Hispanic, yeah. There's certain scenes in that's, you know, it's tearjerkers. There are certain things in there that you like. You look at some of these movies, it's like, dang, you know, they're really wanting you to hit home because they want you to understand the relating of what they've been through of a struggle. So some of the struggles that you see in some of the movies, you'd be like, dang. So I can kind of understand where you're coming from on that, where somebody else will look at you and be like, why are you crying on that? But really, if you look at it, there may be some things where you can relate to that from your childhood, or some things where you can relate to from even as an adult now, to where you appreciate some things that may have happened. You be like, dang, you know what I mean? Your kid may not be able to relate to that, but you can because of the generation. You see what I'm saying? Like there may be some movies out right now that we may be like, why are you crying on it? But your mother or your father will cry on it because of the generation that they may have went through when it came to like a trial and error. You feel what I'm saying? Like, what's the movie? There's a movie, what is it? 12 years to freedom.
12 Years a Slave.
I can't look at no slavery movies. I'm gonna tell you
that movie right there.
All of my tearjerkers.
That movie is a tearjerker.
All of them.
And if you know about that movie was based in this area in Stafford or Quantico. They have an actual statue of that guy here, which I didn't know that.
Right.
But when you watch movies, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
No, my father told me that. We was out to eat. And
yeah,
I
can't watch no slavery movie.
Movies like that, you think about like we are blessed in a lot of areas, and then you're thinking like, oh, you ain't supposed to be crying on that. Why are you not supposed to cry? That shows you that what they just went through, that has no effect on you as a person.
Right. But that makes sense. I'm trying to figure out what kid movie you cried on.
Yeah.
Which one?
Mufasa.
No, I can't. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was. It was. I don't know if it was Coco or if it was one of the movies where it was something where it dealt with their culture in depth.
I tell you, it was one. It's one on Netflix now. I can't think. I don't know if it's not Encanto, but it's another one that was really good, man. I can't think of the name. Vivo.
Oh,
that's a good one too. Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, I got a little teary-eyed when the granddad died in the beginning of the joint. That joint kind of messed with me a little bit.
It be certain things like that where it can be something where it's pertaining to like history fact or history. It's not something like crazy, like, oh, you know, the dog died. Nothing like that. I'm talking about something where it hits home or resonates across the board of why they put that in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I tell you like this, like for instance, from scratch, I'm just go ahead and ruin it for y'all because y'all should have watched it. Bro said it last week. I put it to you like this. Me and my wife watched it, and I think about the 3rd, 4th episode, that joint just started hitting me. And you know why it hit me so hard is because it's about cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think just about love.
And losing.
And everyone, you can't tell me that there's nobody in this world, IG, TikTok, YouTube, nobody in this world that hasn't dealt with cancer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to see them go through it, it just triggers stuff in your own life and the own stuff that you've been through, that you've seen. And the joint kind of hurt. It's like, man, when it's a good movie is when you cry because you relating so much to that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Let it out.
Yeah. He said, "Let it out."
Oh, go to you know what was the tearjerker? The movie with the 5 guys that got went to jail.
Oh yeah, you talking about the Central Park?
Yes,
the Central Park.
That is a tearjerker.
That joint, man,
that's a good movie.
Yeah,
and my man that played the guy that was stuttering,
and
he did that part so good.
Let me tell you something, man. when I'm gonna tell you what's a tearjerker is when you're watching him live. Okay, he's on Oprah, he's on all these TV shows, and what's crazy is that
the real person or the actor?
Yeah, the real person.
Okay,
the real person. What's sad is that he's on all these talk shows, right? And he barely can talk because he's so it devastated him so hard. They're used to it like as a man. This is a grown man who got locked up at 8th grade. 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? And didn't get out until he was like 27, 28 years old and went through a lot of stuff. And he can barely talk about it because it traumatized him. Right. And you sitting there like this, like, dag, like, can't no real man say that you cannot sit there and have no type. If you have no sympathy for that dude, you the devil. You just straight, you just Lucifer. I'm dead serious. Like you just got no heart.
Lucifer. We got some comments real quick. Lily Doe 15 said, no. Miss Lala said, Lord, from scratch had me jacked up. Lovely this said, LOL, I can't do slavery movies either. And then Miss Lala said, Vivo.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Vivo. Yep.
It's just certain movies that, you know, I don't think it's what's too emotional. If what are we talking about being too emotional?
I mean,
crying,
too
man.
emotional, like crying. Like as a
movie.
man, you crying or shedding a tear every time. My son tell me, Dad, you always crying. Are you crying? He looking at me. I'm like, shut up.
Do you look at the side and everybody just looking at you like
you know what I will say?
I get to wipe in my eye. Like,
you know what I will say?
Man, you cry too much.
I feel like
air on in here.
This is what I do realize, and when you become more spiritual and more in tune with your spiritual side, you do become more emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're getting closer to God or if you changing in your life and certain things, you know what I mean? You do become more emotional. Even when you get older, you know what I mean? Just like he was saying, there's certain things that you appreciate. Like I give you a prime example. Like, I'm pretty sure he cried when he saw his son graduate. You know what I'm saying? He saw both his sons graduate. That's stuff you should be proud of. I mean, you should be emotional.
Know what you went through.
But at the same time, though, that to me, that's different, though.
Yeah,
that's different. You know what I'm saying? It's like
than this type of emotion.
Yeah, that's a joyful emotion.
So
like,
what's the emotion that we shouldn't be crying of?
No, what I'm saying is
like with the movie, like for instance, for me with that same movie, B was like, yeah, you know, like with me, I didn't want to cry in front of my woman because I felt like.
Do you feel it makes you less of a man to cry in front of you?
You have to be strong. Be a man.
Look, hey, that's all. I was like, look, my chest started getting tight. I was like, let me grab this drink real quick. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
You snap a gun.
Use the bathroom real quick. I gotta leave the room.
I don't feel like it make you less than nothing. I've been in some situations where it would have grown men and grown women crying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The situations I've been in my regular life. So at the end of the day, if you're crying, it depends on what you're crying about. You see what I'm saying? Like that may have resonated with him because of somebody that's real close to him that passed away. You see what I'm saying? Or his mother, or you know what I mean? It has to be somewhere it triggers that.
I think if you keep, I think the issue will come if you keep crying at the drop of every dime. Yeah, then we got a problem. Come on, like Lord Jesus, did Rufus get hit by a car?
Nah, but you got to be able to show your vulnerability to your mate, though, man. You should never be afraid to do that. Never.
Yeah, man. So you know, what I'm saying,
I cry in front of my lady. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I don't cry like that, like no punk.
You just go.
I cry like that. Like
actually, though,
did you just yell at me?
I can't be mad at him because I feel like I'm the same way. Like I feel like, you know what I mean? Like I'm quick to be angry and to go at somebody, but I'm quick to, like, you know what I'm saying, cry at something that is very sentimental, powerful. Right. Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? It can, but it has to like
the message have to be hit home. The message have to be, you know what I'm saying? It has to be relatable. Like you can't just cry for any old reason, man. Come on,
right?
Like,
I don't understand how
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
my thing is I don't understand how men can go, especially black men. What bothers me is we can go to a family member's what is it, a homegoing funeral, and we can't cry. We got to be tough, but we can't let it out.
Oh no!
Oh, man. I can't.
I cry. Yeah, like, my family, man. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't like going to funerals.
I hate that when they sit there just like bro, like, you know, goodness well that affects you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it I don't get it.
I don't know. Okay, I will say this. There's been some times when I was at church, right? And the pastor, you know how they're
looking right at you.
They're saying something powerful, right? And then the choir get up there and start singing a powerful song. I be trying to hold myself together. You better hold yourself together. You start shaking it and everything. Like
that Holy Ghost get ready to grab a hold of yourself.
Hold yourself. Be a man. Be a man.
But that's the part I was just saying about the spiritualness. When you get older, the spiritual side of you, it kicks in. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like God put that in us. He created us to be able to cry, not like cry over the dumbest stuff. Like, I feel like, I don't know, man. Like, you know how some people be like, yeah, he always crying. Like, but to me, it's like, I don't know how to take it. Especially, there's a family member of mine, and B. Glenn know this. They used to call him the crying pastor. I don't know if you heard that. You know what I'm talking about?
Go ahead.
But you know, he's a Howard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they called him the crying pastor, and he's always saying every time he talk, he preached.
What's his name? Reverend Howard?
Yeah, that's my uncle.
Skinny, slim.
No, their father.
No, but he's skinny.
You're talking about brother, but not him. His dad, his actual dad. They call his dad the crying pastor.
Oh, yeah.
But his dad, every time he preached, he always cried. And everybody be like, oh, you talking about the one that cry all the time. But if they knew his struggle, they wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go back, like, so I give you a prime example. I used to hear that all the time. That really used to bother me, because I'm like, if he's preaching about God, or if he's preaching about something, why should he not cry? Well, he just cry every time. But when I went to my great aunt's house, right? God rest their soul. They started church outside. Like, when I seen these pictures, they were black and white. He had this little box and this little stand, and he was in the woods preaching to people. And I'm sitting there like, Dad, that's how far y'all go back to doing church? So when she's showing me the book, she's showing me everything, the process of everything they went through. So now when I think about him crying, I'm like, man, that brother had a lot to cry about. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His family don't want for nothing.
Too, right?
They want for nothing right now. That family owns property, businesses, and everything. So when he's probably thanking God for everything. So now I think I look back and be like, yo, he has every right to cry. And if you ain't crying, then something is wrong with you. That's just me.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go to that. Let me read the comment. Miss Lala said, a man crying on a movie could simply be in touch with his emotions. Not a biggie for me. Lovely Liz said, I think it's great when a man can tap into his emotions and express them freely. Emotional, cool, but overly sensitive can be a bit overwhelming. And Miss Lala said, lovely Liz, I agree.
Okay, so ladies, what's the overwhelming? Not saying that y'all are wrong, because I agree. What's the overwhelming? What do you not want to see a man cry over?
What is too emotional? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and while they writing that in the chat, because we're not gonna really get to movies and stuff tonight. But Emancipation, Will Smith joint. If you ain't watched that, watch that.
Was it good?
It was good. It was good.
Man, I don't even want to talk about anything with Will Smith doing, and he like losing weight, or he like the one where he lost his job and stuff. You know the
what
one.
You mean 7 pounds?
Oh
no,
no,
talking about
Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah.
Pursuit to Happiness.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, brother, stop.
What?
He's trying to have people crying.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to really get that Oscar.
Hey,
he's trying to pour tears out of everything.
He be doing it, man. Cause he look, he did his thing in Emancipation, man. That was good. And TV show ain't got nothing to do with crime, but you should watch it if you ain't seen it yet. And that's Gangs of London. If y'all ain't seen that yet,
man,
Gangs of London from beginning to end, bro.
I had to check it out.
Man, look, I can't do it. I'm a sucker for. I'm telling you.
No, this is action. This
okay, cool. Okay, cool. We not crying.
Cool, yeah.
Cool,
No.
Cool.
Yeah,
I don't got time to be crying all the time.
Let me get some comments real quick. Miss Lala said, crying about everything, being sensitive about everything. It was good. I don't know. 20J20 said it was good. I don't know what he's talking about. But Miss Lala said, let me cry sometimes, please.
I feel like this is what I feel like. I feel like complaining. A man complaining all the time is a problem more than him crying. That's just me. If you always complaining and you just, you know what I mean? Is that a form of emotional problems? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know, man. Are the complaints valid?
Well, but let me rewind because I
That's
remember.
a great question.
Let me rewind because I want to rewind something you said real quick. You said you don't like it when a man always trying to be hard and not cry, right? That's something.
Yeah,
like
that's a problem, man.
But
That's the issue.
to me, that I but we don't know what that person dealing with.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. So if maybe you know how we know how like you deal with some trauma and like you know how we look at these movies where the father always wants you to be tough, so they do crazy things. They hit you with don't cry, don't cry, be a man, don't cry, be a man, and that could be some of the trauma they dealing with. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad. I would just say they just need some. It's going to take some work.
The first time I ever seen my father, and my dad preaches, y'all. First time I ever seen him walk in a funeral with sunglasses on is when his dad died. And he couldn't even break down and cry. I had a problem with that. Bro. And I get it. I get what you, but you know what I'm saying? I was like, it had.
But how you know he wasn't hurting though?
Oh, I know he was.
All right, so
but
that's
my
what I'm
thing
saying.
is this, though.
I mean, some people don't, but he probably was.
You know, but it's because our fathers, the men before us, they couldn't be like that. Exactly. They couldn't be like that.
Different
I give you a thing, for instance, my father. Well, my great grandmother, when my nana passed, I never seen my father cry. But I tell you, that day in that pulpit when he broke down, I said that joint must have touched him.
Yeah. For him, exactly.
For him to break down like
that's
that.
when you know.
Right.
That's when you know. And I'm gonna tell you this: I can't be around people like that because if they don't cry, you know everybody is crying.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody, because he be like, if you know he don't cry, like, oh Lord, oh God,
exactly.
All right, comment
exactly.
Lily Doe 15 said it's a cultural thing. Men are seen as weak when they cry, but that's not the case. They're hit with the phrase "what you crying for," and because of that, men block off their emotions, and it's hard.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. It's hard. They block off.
You know, another thing. I hate to jump off of this, man, but this is just such a good topic, and it's going to lead into the next topic as well. But you know, I find myself telling my kids I love them. I tell every time I get off the phone, I tell my kids I love them. But us growing up, we didn't get that. I'm gonna say I didn't get that. No, you know what I'm saying? My father didn't tell me every time we got off the phone, "Hey son, love you."
Right.
But you know, we got to change these generational curses. You know what I'm saying? We got to change them.
I will say.
Quick comment, real quick. 20J20 said he probably cried, just not in front of you.
Right.
The era he grew up in had a lot to do with it, and he This is piggyback on what he.
I mean,
said.
I get that.
No doubt.
I was going to say what Brian, what Buglen was saying right there. I mean, I feel like the generation that's before us, and I totally 150%, 1,000 agree with you. I feel like we have made excuses on what we think love should be, right? Especially family, because you know what I'm saying, like some people look at love, well, you know, he took care of the house, he did this, he loved you. Okay, nobody goes to school and say my dad loved me because he paid the bills, he paid rent. My dad loved me because he put food on the table. Nobody says that. You know what I'm saying? They want you to be programmed thinking, well, he love you because he's showing an action. When in reality, it's cool to show an action. Don't get it twisted. But men and women do need to hear that word. It does need to be said. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A verbal word needs to be said. Affirmation needs to be said. And I think what happens is that our generation, this is what's crazy. And I'm gonna tell you why I feel like our generation is jacked up. Our generation is jacked up, especially for our kids. I'm gonna tell you why. It's because we don't have some of us have a balance and some of us don't. Some of us don't want to discipline our kids because we've been disciplined too hard. Some of us want to show too much love to our kids because we never had love. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we got to have a balance with that. You got to be able to discipline your kids and show love and say I love you and have the whole balance to where your kids can grow up understanding the whole. Go ahead, what you going to say?
But see, no, I'm not to cut you off. But see that you're right. But see, the hard part about that is easier said than done because you still got the daily life because some people still are dealing with their own traumas from their childhood.
Exactly.
Right. And that's a good segue home to that next topic, how childhood trauma may be showing.
Is that what we're about to go into?
In your relationship.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, say it again.
How childhood trauma may be showing up in your relationship.
Oh wow.
And that
Jesus.
goes for your kids, but I think in this instance,
I think I had an article on that one,
other.
but I don't have the article right now. So
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
we roll with it.
But at the same time, it goes back to what you know. Like, you know how you as a parent used to get beat, so then you beat your kids, but you didn't like getting beat as a kid, but you still.
I was going to say the opposite
because that's what you knew.
I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say that there is a lot of kids not beat because they got beat. So there's a lot of parents that don't want to do that. That's why they got the timeout or sit in the corner.
No, that's because they got the law. They had the justice system in place. That ain't had nothing to do with. They like people would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get arrested if I hit that kid." Nah. But to go back on what I was saying before is the fact that when we talk about our parents, they grew up in a different time.
Era.
They grew up in a time where racism, they didn't have, so they had to teach you tough, because when you walked out into this world, the world wasn't going to be nice to you.
Right.
The world, you was going to have to deal with what comes with that. And that's why it was always, don't cry, don't do this. And that's where we go back to the piggyback off the childhood trauma, where they dealt with so much as a child because they didn't hear affirmations of I love you and everything, because it had to be tough. So that's all they knew. That's all they know how.
This is about to be deep.
Back then,
You can see that
back then they didn't have the help that we have today. And some of our parents still need help. As far as what?
I will say this. This is what I will say. I feel like the generation is weaker, but we have help. I feel like the generation back then was stronger and was able to take on certain type of things to where now we can't even say certain things to each other because we get defensive automatically.
Oh no, it's I think it's terrible now because there is no balance.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I said you're right when you said balance, but there is no balance. Because guess what? Because everybody's spectrum is different.
Yeah.
So there will not be, because if you say this, you got 50 people. If you say this to your child, you got 50 people over here say you shouldn't have said that. Then you got 50 people over here say, yeah, you should have said that. And then everybody, the middle going to be like, okay, I'm going to agree with both of y'all, because it can't be like, it has to be a balance.
That's just like if I put this cup here and Jody hit me, go boom, Larry, get that. I'll be like, all right, but if he did that to my son, he just hit me with the arm. He didn't even touch you.
There's no balance. There's no balance. It's just so. Let me tell you, and this is our truth. I'm just telling you what like it is. It goes back to when we was talking about the bullying thing.
I'm glad you brought that. I was just thinking about the same thing.
It's back to we saw the bullying thing. I'm not gonna tell my child, wait for him to hit you first, and then you hit. No, ain't no way. Come on, man. This world is not. Y'all know how I get. I'm a little tip. This society is not nice. Somebody needs to say it. Society is not nice. They don't care what you're going through. I want to know,
where did that come from?
They don't care what you're going through. Everybody want to say, oh, we care. We this. No, you don't. You only care about what's in your household and your bubble. You really don't. Right. You really don't care about what's going on elsewhere.
I think the sad thing. Go ahead. I was going to say, I think the problem is with that. And I don't know who started that. You don't hit them, let them hit you first, because this is the sad thing. It can go two ways with that story, right? They hit you.
Get slept.
They hit you. You hit them back. It's a rumble. You get beat up, right? They're gonna be known for the person that beat you up, right? Or you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they're gonna always be looked at. Well, he hit you first. You never, you don't never want to be looked at as the softer side of Sears.
Well, just like our parents said, right? Like it's like don't start nothing, but you better finish it if it do get started. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the sad thing. You would never know what you can do because you was the not the aggressor and you was the defender. And that's the sad thing, because you wasn't preparing yourself to be that person. You was preparing to get hit. You was preparing yourself to get punched. Think about it. You was preparing yourself to be embarrassed by everybody.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, now that's more pressure right there. Think about that. Think about that for 1 second. I could be the person that's just still up on you and look like okay, he stole you, right? Or I could be the person to get punched in the face, and now I gotta build up the courage to beat you up. And if I don't beat you up, that's even worse.
Right.
I think we got somebody want to come up on this topic.
Where?
Who is that?
A female. We got a female want to come up.
Are they coming up on IG?
On IG.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, and that's the thing, man. I'm telling you, man, I don't understand. I'm a type of person that common sense is common sense. And you see what the world is, you see what it's about. It just, what is it? Yeah, Lily Doe. Yeah.
I mean, my thing on it is it's tough.
Can we see? Are we gonna be able to see?
Yeah,
man,
if you want to see it on your phone,
Yeah.
You should be able to see it on your phone when it come up.
Why that jump stuck on my face like that? Crazy. What's up, Mr.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up?
Nothing much. Just listening.
Okay.
What you got on this topic tonight?
Go ahead.
What you have on this topic tonight?
So basically, I'm 23. So from what my parents have taught me, it is a different day and age where everybody is sensitive. It is a different day and age where now we get more help, we get more assistance. Like, for example, I'm in school and we get assistance on books, we get assistance on mental health, we get assistance on just anything that we're going through. Whereas back then, there wasn't a lot of resources, there wasn't a lot of different things to where it was left to the parents to decide. Mm-hmm. So that's a difference on like where it's more so basically in a sense more of a hand holding than many, which in the idea of the fact of it being said weak.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So what can be done? What do you think needs to be done? Is there any other solutions?
I don't believe it. The way life is going and with COVID and everything and more of everybody making mental health a thing, it's just always going to be a handhold. It's never going to be how it used to be back then to where there's a balance. It would have to be left up to the parents.
Right.
For a child.
I totally agree with you. It's hard. I mean, you know what's crazy? It's hard because in this generation right here, it's too much either on one side or the other side, to where you have a lot of kids. This is just me, you know, working with children and seeing this. You have a lot more kids that are not being disciplined, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got a lot more kids now that are taking on words over their life, like, you know what I mean, like everybody now is ADHD or everybody's ADD. You know, that wasn't a thing where I don't believe every kid is diagnosed to have that. You see what I'm saying? Like,
so you think they just making names?
I feel like they take it on. I just feel like they take it on. Like their mother and their dad say. Somebody left.
Somebody was trying to say something.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's more so like they're making an excuse for said behaviors when really that's probably just them. Like, for example, like you said before, ADHD. That child just maybe that's just who they are.
Yeah,
right.
Never a said problem. Like, you're gonna just give them medication just for them to just be.
Yeah,
in a sense, be basic and not be creative or anything like that.
Or you hear them say, "Oh yeah, you know, my child, he got ADHD," or they say he what's the other one that they use? ADD, but it's another one though. Say it again.
OCD. I think she said OCD.
No, it's not. It's not OCD. What is it when they're like not too stressed, but
hypertension.
Anxiety.
There it is.
Yeah,
anxiety. Like that word and anxiety and ADHD is thrown around so much. It is crazy. And it's like we're quick to put words on ourselves versus just correcting situations. Labels just versus correcting. And I think that's where we have dropped the ball with the balance.
I think another area.
It comes in a sense of everybody wants to feel like they belong somewhere.
Yeah,
It's like they want to be able to be like, that's where the whole bullying thing comes from. It's like they want children to belong to somewhere, so that way they're not looked down a certain way or looked at a certain way. But does that really help, or does that hurt?
That's a great point.
It's hurting, man, because like we was talking about with the whole bullying thing, man. Like if you teach your child to not take no ish from nobody, then they go to school and they go out into the world and you know they'll develop those traits to be strong and to defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's where us as a society, and then even going into the schools, is like you put the blame on the person, you know, in that particular situation, right? I'm not talking about someone who's just going around punching people in the face just because they can or they want to be a bully. But in a situation where you have someone that's in class with another student and they're continuously just going at this one particular person because they want to be a bully, and they're not putting their hands on them, but they keep saying stuff, and then that's when you get the situations where someone goes and they want to, you know, pew pew, or a fight breaks out, right? And because I don't want to say certain things on YouTube.
I know what you're saying, but we know where you're coming from. But you on the right track. You on the right track with that. You on the right track.
There's no communication or repercussion for the kid that started the situation.
Yeah.
Like where's the teacher telling that kid to shut up? Like, oh, he punched you in the face because you wouldn't shut up. Like, you know.
Oh, but you know what though? But it's the thing that gets me is that both children get in trouble for, and I think this is the reason why you got the families that want them to be the aggressor, because they feel like, hey, you're gonna get in trouble anyway. So you might as well you just go ahead and do what you got to do, right? And the sad thing about it is versus just getting on the kid that actually started it, you want to put both of them in timeout or both of them in punishment, which I don't believe is fair. And another thing that I can't stand, I know I'm gonna probably step on some toes. I hate when parents say, "I think my kid's on the spectrum." Like stop that.
You think your kids are what?
On a spectrum, like, you know, like they're hot, like they're something's wrong, like they have a disability or things like that. If you're talking to your child, hey Juju, do you want some juju? No. Do you want some juice? Talk to your child. He doesn't know.
You're absolutely
He doesn't
right.
have a problem. Your child doesn't have a problem. The problem is,
it's like, oh, that's cute. That's it. No, it's not.
Exactly.
Stop. Like, don't let it. Like, I'm serious.
I think he's on the spectrum because he doesn't know how to say juice.
No,
well, you're saying juju.
Yeah, you're not.
Do you want some juju? Do you want some juju? So he's going to school saying, I want some juju.
No, you got to be real.
I just got mad.
You say you want some juju.
Yeah, so I think this is the problem. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you immediately want to label your child.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I feel like it's our generation that's jacked up because of what we went through.
Right.
I feel like the generation before us were stronger. They took a lot. Even the generation before them. Like, let's just be real. Let's just put it like this. How many of us or our kids can really deal with 1920s, heck, 1960s? 1800s, 1700s, will we be able to live in that time frame and be able to deal with?
But I wouldn't go that route because they wasn't brought up like.
No. Listen,
if they was put in that position,
I'm saying if you would,
you feel what I'm saying?
If you was to take one of our kids right now,
oh, of course they can't survive.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, what I'm saying is, we had like, okay, I give you a prime
example. And the reason
example.
why I'm saying is because I feel like they're stronger.
Yeah, let me read this comment real quick. Lovely Liz said, our generation dropped the ball here. We did not pass or instill the values and lessons we were taught. That's why they are so sensitive and always diagnosing our children with something. I could explain, but Lily, though, won't let me talk. She told me to be quiet. Okay. But what I'm saying is, it's like, okay, we didn't have social media. So things that we had developed by going out and talking to people and going out and doing and meeting people and becoming friends and doing this and doing that. We did not have the way these kids got video games and stuff, but we had to actually go to each other's house and play video games, and we actually had to play outside. We actually had to socialize. So it has, but by being though, these kids now can just be by themselves in their room and don't have to come out at all. Guess what? It has made them softer to deal with the stuff, to deal with the stresses and stuff that goes out when they leave that room.
Right, because they're not dealing with those.
Because they don't not exactly. Right. They're not dealing with it on a daily basis like we did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I was saying I feel like we dropped the ball. I feel like our generation is so much on a softer side than our family, our old generation. I feel like they swept a lot of stuff under the rug and they didn't deal with it. They didn't deal with issues because they felt like, hey, you can handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you strong enough, like you don't got to talk about it because they don't want to. I think we're the generation that we want to talk about it. You know what I mean? If something's bothering, if I'm mad, I need to talk to you right now. Like, I need to let this out. You know what I mean? Because growing up,
they rather text versus talk.
Text and talk.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you see, that's
okay. Well, let me give you let me say this. Okay,
hold on one second, Joe. Let me get to this one because Rail, I don't know if it's Rail L or Rail I, but it said it's an excuse to push meds on the kids.
Of course,
you know,
money. But let me say this though. We talk about back in the generation, older generation.
Yep.
Where did they have to go? Where?
I don't.
When
know
they
where.
was going through anything they was going through,
where
did they have to go?
I think they
on
were
their knees talking to Jesus.
Exactly.
That's a very.
So who did, and that's what I'm saying. Where did they have to go? Where could they go? Who could they lean on? Who could they lean on?
Actually, this is what I will say. I feel like at that time, people were so focused on, especially our culture, we were so focused on getting out the struggle that we didn't know who to lean on, because you in the struggle with me. You in the struggle with me. You know what I'm saying? That's just like this statement that my great aunt said that was so powerful. She said, if two people fall in a bin, right? Either you help each other get out, or one gets out and pulls the other one out. If the other one doesn't want to go out, you just got to walk away, right? Now think about it like this. If we're all like, struggling, going through stuff, I'm not going to talk to you going through struggle, because I'm not going to put my struggling on you. I'm not going to do the same thing with you. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to get out of it. And then but the thing is this though, if you did come to me, we were a generation where we would help you. You just ain't gonna open your mouth and say it. Like you may be hungry and be like, yo, I need to eat, but I'm not gonna ask my brother to feed him, knowing I know he gotta feed his family. I'm gonna get out here and do what I gotta do. But that's not to say that you wouldn't help me. You see what I'm saying? Because we are a culture that will take care of our folks.
That's funny, because that brings us to the next topic.
What's that?
It does.
Interesting.
One comment real quick.
I don't know.
Real quick. Lovely said, I also noticed that as they transition into young adults, their survival skills are nowhere near what it should be.
Oh my God. They're not. No. Look, how many kids can you say are driving at 15 or 16?
A lot.
They're driving at 15, 16?
Yeah,
there's a lot that are not driving. I know I know a lot of kids. I know a lot of kids that are not driving at 15 or 16. What I mean legally.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah, you get your permit at 15.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Some are not though, because of the fact of the matter is that the laws have changed. Number one. Number two, they're not out working to get a car. It's given to them.
Just sitting inside.
Oh yeah, that part. Now that part, yes.
You see what I'm saying?
So,
Lyft and Uber.
Stuff is Lyft or Uber. So there's like, you gotta think about it like this. When we were growing up, we was catching a bus. Can you tell me a kid that has catched the bus?
Caught a bus.
Or thank you. Look, caught a bus. I sound like a slave who catch the bus. I sound like bounce. Or caught a bus, walked to the store. Nope, they don't even want to walk to. They don't even want to walk to a 7-Eleven or a gas station to go pick up chips or anything. They ask their mom and dad for every little thing that they need. I mean, let's keep it real.
Nah,
because go ahead, bro.
I was just saying, like for me, like it just depends, right? Like the corner store isn't as necessarily as close as it used to be, depending on where you at. You know what I'm saying? So then, like my son, for certain ages, right? Like my son 10, like. And because of the things that we've seen, and whether it be like in documentaries and stuff, and just like how
we live in,
how crazy kids. Exactly, man. So it's just like,
but are we sheltering them too much? Because even we knew back then, by a certain time, these lights, if the lights come on, you need to have your butt in the house, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying like, is that like there's a lot of things that are being brought to light more that probably still happened during those times, but you didn't have things like social media, people doing these documentaries, like abduction. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
women getting abducted, children getting abducted, and stuff like. Go ahead.
But you got Wi-Fi. You got satellite.
No.
Listen, let me ask you something. Back then, somebody could get snatched, and it would take them literally a few weeks to a month to find them. Right?
Yeah.
His son could go outside right now. He got a tracker on his son.
Yeah, but let's be honest though. Let's be honest. The people that snatching kids nowadays, they know that, right? So they're not gonna keep no cell phone, no smartwatch, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So with all that technology, if your kid gets snatched up, what you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is that they were doing the same thing then that they're doing now. The only difference is that
we're
we
sheltering our kids.
That's the thing, and
Right.
that's what I was saying. I feel like we're sheltering them, and we're not raising them into a place of independence in a sense of what I mean by independence, of giving them chores, giving them things to do around the house like we did growing up. Like
my son do that. I just shelter him from
yours do. I know
people about to walk to the corner store.
I know people right now that's your son's age that still their mom and dad still wash their balls.
Oh yeah, I mean, they ain't doing that.
No,
that's kind of pedophile-ish.
And you know what? And it's crazy because if you was to talk to them, they'd be like, well, but in our minds, yes, that does sound like that, right? But you got some people that are crippling their kids into young adults,
right?
You see what I'm saying?
That's something like that.
I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like this generation, and I'm not trying to knock nobody, but I feel like this generation, we're gonna have more kids living at home than them actually being on their own. That's how I feel. I feel like you're gonna have more kids.
But do you see I'm gonna be okay. I look at it differently, but go ahead. I'm listening.
The reason why I say that is because,
being at home doing what? Because if I done seen so many times, I'm gonna tell you right. I done seen so many times with white folks, their kids stay home, they save, they invest, they do everything they need to do to build up their financial status.
And guess what though?
But as black folks, we kick our kids out.
Hold on.
As soon as they turn 18.
And I was gonna say something on that. And I was gonna say this.
You gonna put something on this light bill?
Yeah, right.
But this is what I was gonna say. Exactly. I was gonna say this though. There is pros and cons to that. Because I can honestly say, I got friends right now that's our age, right now, that was going through what he said, right? And they're either homeless or on drugs. And these are not black people now, okay? These were rich white kids that overdosed because they had everything handed to them. B. Glenn knows some of the people we're talking about because they went to school with him too. You see what I'm saying? To where you see me and him been working since we were 14, 15 years old. You see what I'm saying? And you can actually see the benefits of us working. You see what I'm saying? To where we're not strung out. Thank God we ain't go through those type of processes or things like that. But we didn't have that silver spoon handed us. We were blessed, but we didn't have that silver spoon. We had to work hard. We had to become a man early. And if you really think about it, would I change that? No, I wouldn't change that because where would I be right now? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What would I be right now? So you may have a son right now who, like, Dad, I don't want to leave right now. I just turned 18. I don't need to get a job right now. I think I need to take some time off. Okay, well,
you know, when you think about these type of things, you know what I'm saying, and how society has changed and the way we raise our kids has changed. You also have to take into account of, man, the way that you talk to your kids sometimes can trigger them. You hear about a lot about suicide with kids killing themselves.
Yeah,
man.
that's crazy.
And with you sheltering them and not giving them the real, but also trying to protect them from the outside, it's like a gift and a curse all the way around.
And there's a balance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, you have to stay involved. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I try to stay involved with all my kids. I try the best of my ability, and it's just hard. I think it's hard for everybody.
Being a parent is hard, man.
Yeah.
Especially if they're the chip off the old block, as they would say. Well, the apple don't far from the tree, right? If you hear that story, I've heard that. You know what's crazy? And I have to say this, thank God for having a father, right?
Right.
And by me being a dad now, I have went back to my actual father. And I had to tell him, yo, if there's anything I've ever said or done, and I've done it several, if there's anything I've ever done, said to you as a child, I am sorry. And he's laughing at me. He's like, oh, so now you're feeling what we would. I'm like, but I wasn't bad. He was like, no, you wasn't bad, but the apple doesn't far from the tree, does it? And I'm like, and he's eating it up. He's laughing because I don't think he would ever saw this, this happening. But for me, it's like, I'm like where B is. I'm realizing, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, raising a teenager, especially a male teenager, testosterones, want to be a man, want to show you that he's a man. It's not easy. It is not easy. Females to me are easier to raise because they're more Their head, they know what they want. They've known it since they were like 12 years old, 11 years old. 9 times out of 10, that 11 or 12-year-old is going to be what she says she's going to be when she turns a certain age. Your son, I don't know.
Look, women, women,
I don't know.
They just listen and follow instructions better than we do.
Oh my God.
We're what's what I'm trying to say? Not disobedient, but we're just like,
no, that's the perfect word.
We want to do what we want to do.
No, that's the perfect word. And the thing is this: when do you not become? When do you come to a place where you're not disobedient?
I think,
you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're living in your family's house.
I think this is the road that we battle as parents, man. When it comes to these kids, is the fact we want them to be great, right? We want them to be successful. The issue is like, okay, I'm just gonna come from my little perspective of it. The issue is, like I always tell my kids, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, like growing, school, education, I don't care what you do. And that's just honest truth. Once you become an adult now. I ain't talking about kids, I'm talking about as an adult.
Right.
I don't care what you do. Because the goal, as being a parent, my goal is for you to be able to take care of yourself independently.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the goal. That is the goal.
This is what I will say.
Whether you get strung out on drugs, whether you go screw the whole world, whether you finish your school, you got school going, you could take care of yourself independently, you doing what you're supposed to do. Hey, at the end of the day, I did 100%. I did what I was supposed to do as a parent. Now, that's your choice to do whatever, everything else that you're deciding to do. But as a parent, I raised you to be independent. There you go.
Now, this is what I'm going to say on this note, okay? I know this guy when he was young, and I know him now, right? So, and I also know that his oldest children are girls. Okay, let's make that clear. Now, imagine you having 3 of you at a certain age, okay? Or like your brothers at a certain age. And they living with you, okay? They in your house, and you still got to be the man of your house while you raising up teens that want to tell you what to do or how to do because they have certain mannerisms, certain ways like you. And it's not the same because your princesses are different from your sons that are built like you, swole like you, strong like you.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what you do. You
yoke them up.
You go, hey, family meeting. You see that table right there? You take your gun and you spin it around and you say, whoever it stops on, I'm shooting first. That's exactly what's about to happen. And trust me, they go straighten up right.
But you know what? And people don't realize, and I always tell B, you in a blessed place because, you know what I mean? There's people don't realize the generational cycles, generational curses, that stuff is real. You know what I'm saying? Your kid can fall prey into that cycle, even if you didn't raise them that way. It just seems to find them, you know what I mean? Because it's a generational curse, that has to be broken. And a lot of the times we look at it and be like, Dad, my kid ain't gonna be that. He's not going to be that. You don't know what your kid gonna be until he gets to that certain age. I don't care how good of a parent you say yourself is going to be. And you could be the very best parent in the world, get the most prizes for being a parent. And then your child end up being the total opposite of what you say he wasn't going to be when he was little. I don't even talk to little Johnny like that. I dare you talk to him. Now Johnny be robbing everybody, stealing, shooting, acting a fool. Just acting a plumb fool.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
It's not easy. I mean, I always say ain't no blueprint to being a parent, man. You do the best you can. If your child go left, they was going to go left regardless. For me, I'm killing you. Y'all, you're listening. I'm killing them.
I mean, but you know what?
That's just what I'm going to do.
And
I'm gonna be happy because at least I know they're in the grave. They up in heaven.
And you know what though? But that sounds like. But look, listen. You know what's crazy though?
I'm gonna be happy.
As harsh as that sounds. That sounds more like a loving father than caring about somebody, letting them just do whatever he wanted to do willy nilly.
Oh, you're not doing what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing that people. That's okay. Like growing up, right? I don't know if y'all had this situation. Like you couldn't come in my house, in my mother and father's house, and smoke a drink. You're not doing that. Growing up, we have friends like, oh, I let my kids smoke and drink right in the house with us because as long as they're not out there with the people, they here with us and they smoking and drinking with their kids, 15, 16 years old. and we come in looking like, "Yo, your mom's
white people."
Exactly. That's what it was. That's what it was.
There's some black folks that do it. We can't just pinpoint and say it's
white people.
And
Whiter than white people.
Well, you know what's crazy? This is the funny thing because I can agree with both y'all. Because
I don't know nobody.
Well, I tell you, my parents told
we
me they'd rather me drink with them. My dad would let me drink. Yeah, at the house.
Oh, my dad gave me. I mean,
yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean,
that was a nasty.
Honestly, I would rather my kid drink too, not drink with me, but you know what I'm saying. If you're gonna drink at home.
Okay,
you
so what age? What age are you letting them drink?
You talking about 15, 14 years old?
No, I ain't talking about that.
That's what he talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Look,
we have.
He was like, yeah, right.
Yeah, we have friends. Yeah,
we
have friends. Yeah, we
he
have
talking
friends.
About 19.
Yeah, we have friends 14, 15, 16 having parties in their house in Centerville in certain areas. They got swimming pools. They getting drunk. Parents getting drunk with them. Smoking. You looking like, dang, like where is the
respect,
the parenting,
that
values, morals?
That,
I mean, we could go down the line.
That you did not come in my parents' house not saying Mr. or Mrs. Brown. Miss, you know, you had it was a certain way you had to carry yourself when you walked. And if you notice, when I came to your father and your mother, I always said it. Hey, how you doing, Mrs. So and so? Hi. That's because it was a respect right there.
Right.
They don't even do that no more. Like, let me ask you this: how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all feel like kids should say Mr. and Mrs. anymore?
I think so, man. Just as like you're saying, it's a respect thing.
Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. Do y'all feel like kids should say that?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Them kids ain't doing that these days, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you work at the school, you see that firsthand. Them kids ain't giving y'all teachers a respect like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you go to football and basketball games, that's all you hear. Like we talked about this on previous shows where these kids are just cussing right in front of you. Like you walk in there with your child and it's a group of other kids. They be like, hey, so they say hey to your son. The next thing you know, they hollering the F-bomb here and the S-bomb there. And, you know, it's like there's no respect.
You want to know what's funny? It's funny you say that because, you know, I got an 18-year-old and he's his last year. He's a senior, right? And, you know, I had some concerns. But what was crazy, this was what was crazy to hear from the principal. Mr. Brown, your son is not as bad as other kids. Actually, your son has a lot of respect for his teachers and his peers. I'm looking at him like, how do you know? Oh, we can tell how he talks, his mannerisms, everything. So you're right that when you thinking something else, right? Because they may be following the crowd or they may trying to be whatever. People still see that good side of them because of those morals. Now, if he didn't have that, he'd probably be like every other knucklehead in this class. Oh, I know who just like, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's where we lack at with that balance. You see what I'm saying?
But it's so hard.
It is.
This is the thing, man. Especially with our sons, man. It's so hard because on one end, we want them to fit in. The other end, we want them to be respectful. Then that is, especially as a young black kid, you when they go to school and they go out and you want them to be able to have friends, you want them to be liked, you want them to be in sports, you want them to be this. But then on the other hand, you like, okay, how? So it's really tough because for real, then you still trying to take care of your family and the kids, you still trying to hold yourself together. So it's hard. Like that goes back when we was talking about the balance thing. You know what I'm saying? When we was talking about the balance thing, because it's really tough. It's really tough because you want your kid, and boy, male or female, but we talking about our young males, you know, because for real, that's where we're lacking at. Let's be real. Like our young black males are lacking. Our young females, black females, they're doing it. They're furthering their education. They're doing a lot of things. Our young black males. So that means we as parents, as black men, we need to step up for our young black males. But it's like I said, again, it's hard because they see this rap music. They got this, you know what I'm saying? They see the social media with the TV videos and they see all these women. And if you ain't got, the first thing a black man will say to a young kid when they see him is what? How many girlfriends you got?
And that
you get what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? This is the crazy thing about that, right? I never thought in my wildest dreams, at my wildest dreams, right, that I would be talking about a problem with my son having girls, right, or liking girls. I never thought I'd be there, because you know, as a man, you'd be like, yeah, you want your son to be
exactly.
But
that's what go ahead.
But in reality, I don't want him focusing on that because I feel like that will be the downfall.
And his focus is too much on that.
Yes,
exactly.
Like
where he ain't even focusing on what he needs to focus on.
I tell him all the time, women been around since Adam and Eve. They not going nowhere no time soon, son. Like you need to be focusing on a job, your school education, and I feel like that it's I don't know where it's I see more kids wanting to date, and this is the problem that I have is that we parents, and I'm gonna say it in general. Parents want their child to be, it's okay for them to like somebody. You did it when you was a child, but that doesn't mean if it was right because I liked it, whatever. You see what I'm saying? We always find an excuse for them to do what they do. And this is why kids are having kids at early ages. This is why kids are still living at home with you, having kids. You're a granddad with your kid living with you.
Can I be, and I'm about to say something. I know I shouldn't even be saying this, but, and I know it's going to be, I'm sorry, you know me. I'm just, just my kid not being the other way. And when I mean the other way, you know what I'm saying, right? And that's something that's very important to me. You feel what I'm saying? That's something that's very important
for a lot of people.
Yeah. And it's like, so when I see girls and I see him, it's like, oh, I get excited. I'm like, oh God, thank you, Jesus, Lord. But then it's like, that's why I say it's that balance part. Cause I get so wrapped up in that part, and I'm like, go ahead.
So let me ask you a question.
That's a great.
If he does decide,
God dang it, B, I said don't even go that way. You still going that way.
You
go
went
that way. No, I didn't go that way.
You
I just said I didn't want him in the other way, and y'all want to go the other way. Jesus, go ahead, B. Just ask B.
Oh yeah,
just ask B. You know me, I'm real. I'm gonna say it. Go ahead.
So, would you love him any less if he was?
Oh, I would still love him, but he can't have it around me.
Yo,
I don't want to see it.
Let me tell you something.
That's a hurtful thing for me. I don't want to
be loud and clear.
Of course,
let me be loud and clear.
That's my child.
This is tough. This is a tough one because I'm gonna say this really happened at my school. So there was an African American female sophomore dating another African American female. I didn't know it at first. I just kept hearing about it, and she was just like, "Yeah, I asked her to homecoming." I was like, "You asked her to homecoming?" She was like, "Yeah, I asked my girlfriend to homecoming." I was like, "Okay." She said, "I'm so excited. We're about to go pick out our dresses and everything." I'm just like, "Okay." Like, this is weird for me. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm old school, if y'all feel like I was in a closet somewhere. It just don't, I'm still like kind of like shell shocked with this. Okay. So she comes up to me, and the question that I asked her, this is what was crazy. I said, "Yo, so how did your parents feel?" Like, "Oh, they love her. They approved her and everything." I'm like, wow. Like that was big for me. I'm like, "So your mom and dad approved of her and they liked her?" And they was like, "Yeah."
Different. You were raised differently.
I didn't know how to take that because I don't know how I would feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I can't be sugar home be like, "Oh, I approve this. I'm so excited for you guys." Have fun. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I under I'm laughing because the two things we fear is
I fear that. I'm sorry.
As men, listen, this is going to be funny. This is about to be hilarious. Serious. There are two things that men fear: going the opposite way and being a whoremonger. We fear for our girls.
I know for my son. I didn't. I'm being honest. Like, that's something I don't want. And so when him, really taking into girls, I was like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus." But then that's why it goes back to what I'm saying, the balance. And then you don't want them to just to be focused on. I'm focused on women. I'm focused on girls. And you know what? I don't want that to be the focus. But then you like, well, I don't want him to be like the outcast of his friends and everything. You feel what I'm saying?
Let me. And this is the crazy thing, because I'm glad you brought this up, because being raised in a pastoral house, right? My parents believed in, waiting and saving yourself for marriage, right? And the hurtful thing and I thank God for my brother being strong, being like strong, because, and I got into a lot of heated fights, arguments with people, literally, beating the brakes off of people for this type of stuff, because they would always say your brother gay because he don't got no girlfriend, or he ain't out here doing this, not realizing that he going based off of, what we were taught as kids.
Right.
And they used to piss me off. So I find my sons kind of like going through that similar situation where, like, that I just don't like the fact that people call me like this, the G word, or whatever because they don't see me with a female or this. I'm like, let me tell you something. They ain't gonna pay your bills. They ain't gonna do none of that for you when you get where you got to go. You know who you like. You know what you like. You know what preference you like. That's what all that matters. And I'm not gonna lie. I was a little concerned about my sons, being that way. And a part of me want to be like, well, look, if they want to see you, tell them the hands. It's like bring them hands. What you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's so hard to like. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
like,
I would say.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
What's
like,
up, cuz? You want to see me or something?
Yeah. But it's so hard because you ain't trying to teach your son to be violent, but at the same time, it's like, yo, you're not gonna be no punk like B was saying. Right. So yeah, you know what I mean? So I think those are the hard things. Like when you hear that, like, Dad, they saying this because they don't, when they ask me about kissing a girl or all this stuff, and it's like, let me ask you this, B, from your perspective. You have 2 sons. You got a son that's around that age. Mm-hmm. He's going to go through that process, where, what do you tell him? And he's right here because I want to know, what do you tell him?
What do I tell him as far as what?
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Girls.
Like, girls like sex. Girls, sex.
Girls.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
girls, I do it.
Especially if girls like are trying to come on and like, hey, like, Dad,
I would tell him, you see what your brothers have gone through with young ladies. So take your time. You know what I'm saying? And get to know yourself and get your mind right and know what you want to do. Girls are going to come. They're always going to be there. You know what I'm saying? And if girls is not your sip of tea, then we have to address that conversation, or we have to.
I know your sons are very well. We're not worried about that bridge, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I was just
that's what I would tell them.
Yeah, I mean, like Jody was saying, man. Like, I mean, I think as men, that's not something that we want for our sons or whatever for that to be the thing, right? But I feel like at the same time, like for me personally, if it was something that happened, right, like I'm not gonna love my son any less for his choice. That's his choice. You know what I'm saying? Now, on the flip side of that, I feel like society is
going to
pushing. They're pushing an agenda on that side of things, right? Like with TV shows and you know what I'm saying, like Power Rangers. They had the Power Rangers movie and the one black Power Ranger in there, and he's
on the other side. I can't stand that, man. Why has always got to be our culture? I'm saying it. Why has always got to be our culture?
Yeah,
always our culture.
I don't know, but no.
Yeah, a lot of kids. What's crazy for me is this is another show shocker for me. A lot of the kids' movies are showing more of them being on that side of the fence, and they're showing them dating, kissing, and scenes and stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, this is tough for me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a tough thing for me to watch, especially when I'm with my kids. And it's a kid show. It's a kid show, and you're watching them like they're dating and like So for me, it's like So for me, it's like, dang, this is literally
off. We're gonna move on to another topic because that is a touchy.
I don't off. Turn this off. Turn this.
It's touchy, but at the same time, I mean, what are we supposed to say?
We're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah. Somebody said something. Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
What are you talking about?
No.
Oh, just that topic?
No, not the topic.
Oh, you're talking about in general?
Yeah.
Oh, we ain't christening in the crib. That's all I want to have.
Bruh.
So with that being said, y'all, let me ask you. Well, we already know his perspective.
What?
And we know B. Glenn's perspective.
On what?
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, y'all know where Kings of Millions at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do y'all feel about the same sexes going into not same sexes, but opposite sexes going into the actual bathroom?
We said we was leaving. So
hold on. Listen. No, let me. I'm asking you a question because this recently happened to me. Like, we was in the bathroom, right? And I had my kids in there, and women were coming into the bathroom. This is not no like transgender. This is not
Big Baby D looking.
These are actual regular women coming into the bathroom because the other stalls were full. Mm-hmm. So they started coming and waiting in line in the men's bathroom. Like,
Why would you complain? You complain? You had women waiting for the men's bathroom.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this:
They probably had to go plop plop.
No, what I'm asking. This is what I want to know. I want to know the ladies' thoughts on this too. I want to know the ladies' thoughts on this too. If you're at Kings and Men, you're at an amusement park, right? The bathrooms are full. Are you going to take your daughter and yourself into the men's bathroom and wait in line to use the bathroom with the men?
They do that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, wifey. Yeah, don't ever do nothing like that.
No, I've seen that. No, listen what I'm telling you. I've seen it where, because you know, more women, they be using the restroom more than what men do. So if the men's bathroom is empty or they only got one person, they'll wait for that one person. They'll start using
so you do
if
know
it's empty.
Yeah,
so you know this, but this is what I'm saying. So you do know that in men's stalls, there's less closed stalls than there.
No, they use the actual toilet.
So, but this is what I'm saying though. So, do you want your child watching a man stand in front of a stall and use the bathroom while you're waiting in line?
I'm confused. If they go inside the toilet.
No. For instance, like when you go into the male's bathroom, right? Mm-hmm. For the most part, you have to pass the urinal before you get to the stall.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's a line of folks using the bathroom.
I've seen it where some women will, like, because there's a bunch of them. I've seen it where some of them will say, "Man, who in the men's bathroom? I gotta go, so I'm going to." I've seen it when they do that.
But how did you think that's cool to do? Like,
if that's what she decided to do,
what you got to comment on there?
Not my one.
No, it's only only Jay Knight said, "Hell no, inappropriate."
Thank you.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, on both sides. But for me,
I'm saying I've seen it. I'm not saying if it's appropriate or not. I'm saying I've seen it. I've seen it where, like, it would be a lot of people, like, because, you know, women got to use the bathroom more. You know, I've seen it where a woman would be like, you know, "Oh, I gotta go. I can't wait. Da, 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 da. Is anybody in the men's bathroom? No, I'm going to the men's bathroom."
No. That's different because anybody. I'm talking about
that's what I'm saying. I see what you're saying. I'm not taking no child. I'm not taking no child.
There's a line of people. There's a line of people in there using the bathroom. It's all guys.
Have you ever been to the club?
Yeah, I've seen
exactly. They do it in the club. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What I'm saying is we're at an amusement park with kids.
I understand what you're saying, but the question was if there was if women were standing at a women's bathroom. The whole spectrum is about the bathroom.
And guys were doing the same thing.
And guys was at the men in the men's bathroom. I've seen it, especially in the club.
But what I'm saying
where women will go and use the men's bathroom.
But what I'm saying is this: guys were doing the same thing. Like, okay, so it was a lot of people at the park, right? We had to use the bathroom.
I don't know, guys. I mean,
no, listen. I'm telling you what I saw.
No, I'm not telling you wrong.
My thing
I'm
was,
just saying,
I did not want my daughters using the bathroom.
No, of course it's not going to be no child. Because I mean, I agree with you on that. The kid thing. The bathrooms were so full that they were waiting in line to go into these bathrooms, right? My daughters are not going in while you got grown men like y'all in line going into the use. I agree with you on that. I'm not saying I disagree, but you're not saying kids. You saying women.
No, I said kids.
You said women with their kids. I'm telling you. I'm just saying I've seen it where women will use a men's bathroom.
Both. I'm telling you both.
That's what I'm saying.
So what's crazy is that now, mind you, I'm in line behind me. Now I didn't know there was like 4 women behind me in a child. I didn't know that. There's a guy on the other end. He's looking at me like, can they do this? And I'm sitting there like, I guess they can.
Is this allowed?
Yeah. He was looking at me like that. I was like, I don't know, bro. Like, this is new to me. It was so new that it was shocking that I didn't feel comfortable using the bathroom. Like, I just didn't. I felt like I was disrespecting them if I use a bathroom in front of them.
I'm using the bathroom.
Man,
I got
look.
Yeah, you say nobody tell you come to the bathroom.
Look, you came in here.
Yeah, you came in the bathroom, men's bathroom. I'm in men's bathroom. You came in here. So, hey,
I just had to wait.
I mean, I got to use the bathroom.
Well, I know Jody's trying to wrap this up, y'all, but we got to hit one more topic.
You get another time.
I'll hit it.
Before we go out of here, and
which one?
I think we was gonna go into the what are y'all's goals for the new year? You know what I'm saying? What are y'all looking for? What are y'all looking most forward to for the new year?
Lose weight.
I think that's
Get
like
in shape.
90% of the country. Look, no, 90% of the world's goal.
I was gonna say that was mine 3 years ago too. Every New Year's like that's
Yeah, it's the same thing every year.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, man, just being better in everything the new year than I was the previous year. Business where it needs to be, family, and you know, probably look to buy a house next year.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy? So I was gonna bring this up to somebody personally, and I want to ask you guys this. Do you guys ever feel like there's goals that you may not ever achieve that you want to do? Like, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking too big on this, or maybe this is something too, advanced, or like, you know what I mean? To where it's like, I don't even know if I'm gonna ever reach this goal. You guys ever think like that sometimes?
For me, no. I always have a glass half full mentality, so I'm going. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that I put my mind to, I feel like I'm gonna do it. You know?
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I think it just depends on what you're willing to sacrifice.
Okay, so what if it's something where you've been working hard on it, right? But you feel like you're hitting a wall, you're hitting a dead horse, but you know you're supposed to do it, right? But you just feel like you're hitting the wall. Do you continue to like keep putting that goal there and working for it, like the pursuit of happiness, or do you just be like, you know what, I can't do this?
There's always more than one route to get around a wall. Or you just use it, and then there's tools to bust that wall down.
I think that's the type of people you need around you. Then you need people that's going to be able to motivate you to get around that wall. Then, because they, you know, I know for me, I can't speak for everybody, but there's a specific goal that I think I have put on the back burner, and I have put like, I ain't gonna say I gave up on it. I just don't walk in it like I should. So I feel like I battle with that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just being real. Like, I battle with that piece.
I will say this to people, and I will say this to you and whoever. At the end of the day, when you talk about goals, right? And I remember we was talking, I'm gonna put it out there. I remember we was talking about music, and we were like, "Dag, man, we would have did da 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 da." We was doing, and I always just keep saying this. Can you, at the end of the day, can you say you gave 100%? All right. If you cannot say that you gave 100%. Then you can't say that you hit a wall. No, you didn't hit a wall. You didn't give 100%.
I think for me personally,
what I'm saying?
No, I definitely get it. I think for me personally, I think a lot of the goals I put in front of me, I know I accomplished, right? But I feel like this is just one goal where I feel like sometimes I'm not going to get it done because of maybe circumstances, maybe the path I chose. You see what I'm saying? Or the direction I chose. And I battle with that piece every day, all the time. I've been battling with that for like the past 11, 12 years, maybe longer.
Goes back to sacrifice.
Yeah.
What are you willing to sacrifice?
Sacrifice and preparation, right? And how you're executing, you know, that plan. Like, do you have a plan? And like I said, how you're executing that. And then you gotta, you know, if you see the end state, right, you know what I'm saying, you just gotta go for it. Like Jody said, are you really putting your 100% into that thing?
I think a part of me, and this is just being transparent, I feel like I have allowed, I can't say people, I have allowed people to stop me from doing what it is I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Because of the position I allowed them to be in my life. If that makes sense. So those are the things that I look at all the time. You know what I mean? So when B was saying, you know, what is your goal? That is something that I've been really reflecting on for the past couple of weeks now. Like, you know what I mean? This upcoming year, it's not the fact of completing it, right? It's just the fact of, okay, if I'm going to do this, it's either now or never. It's either you're going to do it or just leave it alone. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's where I'm at, because I'm at a road where I'm tired. Like, I'm really tired.
I think inquiring minds would like to know what you're talking about, because you're kind of talking in circles for a good little while, my brother.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
Me and you've had this conversation in the past, and I'm talking about like ministry.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
You know what I mean? We've had this conversation for, so for me, it's like for years I've battled with that piece. And I think for me, like, that's one piece where I'm always like saying, is that what I'm supposed to do? Is that what I'm going to do? And things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So
you mean like starting your own ministry or joining a ministry?
Not joining, like starting my own. You know what I mean? I was told to do that years ago, you know what I mean, many a times and things like that. And I just put it to the side because of maybe fear of failure, timing, just so many different things. You know what I'm saying? So I battle with that piece 24/7. Like that's something that eats me up, that I know that is something I have to do. And I know that I'm being positioned to do certain things now, but it's kind of like tough.
I'll put it to you like this, man.
Go ahead.
I tell my kids every year since they were young, I tell them, look, you need to write 5 short-term goals and 5 long-term goals and try to achieve them. And if that's one of your long-term goals, then you need to make incremental, you know what I'm saying, movements towards that goal. But with hopefully attaining that goal, you know what I'm saying? Not goals are going to be attainable within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year. It takes time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Forming your own ministry, that's going to take time because you have to go through things. You know what I'm saying? You have to build those credentials. You know what I'm saying? You have to build, people have to build faith in you to follow you and to listen to you.
Well,
so and that's what I was going to say too. Just the process and the steps to getting there, because jumping out, just like you said, like with your family, before, and preaching out in the woods and stuff like that, like
that process of them crying,
that's different, right? Like right now, you know what I'm saying? Like it just is my opinion. You do what you want to do, but like in terms of steps and processes, starting, becoming a deacon, becoming, going through those processes and those steps to be ordained, to becoming a minister and a reverend and
so
a pastor.
This,
you know what I'm saying?
This is what I would say on that piece. Right?
What's that comment real quick? You got
a comment. Only Jay Knight said, I think you should go for it. You definitely have a voice and communicate very well.
Appreciate you, Just Jay. He's one of them. Other people have said it, and this is the funny thing. On my live streams, I never talk about this piece. This is something that I've been dealing with for years. And what I mean by that is that what you said, B. Glenn, is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I am the person that writes down goals. Like I write down tons of goals, and as soon as I do it, I check it off. I think that this may be one of those goals where I'm always battling because of it. It's a force. You know what I'm saying? I was told that, you know what I'm saying, the enemy wants to fight against me because of the impact I'm going to have. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm always in warfare with that piece of doing that. And I've always beat myself up. Now, going through the process, I've already been there. Going back to college, getting my degree in that, getting ordained, I went through that process. And even going through that process, I put it to the side. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because even then I felt like, okay, I don't want to do this. Not because I don't have the desire to do it. I just didn't want to fail. Number 2, I felt like I wasn't worthy to do it. You see what I'm saying? And I always felt like there was all eyes on me, and I was going to be criticized and be put in a spectrum of how everybody else sees other leaders. You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's a lot of big things that fall prey to that piece, especially when you're trying to do the right thing and you're doing what you're supposed to do. But at the same time, it's like it's that struggle. Right. So that's just for me. That's just my personal. And you know what I mean? This is something that I mean, you're talking to somebody who's already owned houses, cars, boats. Every material thing doesn't matter no more to me. You know what I'm saying? Money, none of that matters. I didn't have all that. But I always hear the word in the Bible in my head, what would it profit a man to gain the whole world, lose his soul? So for me, it's like, I done a lot of stuff to where now it's like, and that's why I was telling Jody that when Jody was like, about the music thing, I said I wanted that to be marked off my list. So that's something that's not going to hold me back from even this step going forward. You feel what I'm saying? So I can say, you know what? I don't have to worry about that being in the back of my head. If that makes sense. Like, oh, I didn't, I still got to accomplish that. That's something. If I decide to go and do it now, I don't have to. That's something that's off the list.
Only J Knight said, believe it or not, what you guys are doing is a form of ministry by inspiring others all over all of you are leaders.
Appreciate
already.
that, man.
Appreciate
Down
that.
on that.
No doubt.
100.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And just, last thing for me, man, for you, Larry, man, just, I mean, you grew up in the church, man. So, I talk to my wife all the time about, we talk about the Bible and the things like those stories in the Bible are there for us to pull back on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, pull on that, man. Your situation, they tried to stop Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you had the Catholic Church and he was starting Christianity and so on and so forth. So, they tried to stop him. He kept going. Do the same thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just step out on faith, man, and make it happen.
No doubt.
B said something to me. I want to say, the dog. B said something to me. I want to say 4 years ago.
Door open.
That always stuck out to me.
I didn't even see that junk coming here.
That's what I was like, look, I was laughing.
Rottweiler come around the corner.
Can we pick him up and show who?
No.
We
Get him.
They don't want to see.
Get
They
him.
don't want to see what it is. It's a Yorkie. Come here. I'm gonna show you.
Look, we gotta get ready to wrap
You
this
ain't
thing up.
lying.
So
Come on, man.
I'm gonna say this.
It's the podcast head mascot.
I'm gonna say this for the short term and long term, man. Just try to be healthier, man. Try to, get better. With God and try to grow this, man. This podcast head thing has truly been a blessing for me, man. And I'm thankful for each and every one of you brothers, man. Ever since we started this about 3-4 months ago, we've really been trending in the right direction. I just ask that everybody in IG, YouTube, TikTok, y'all continue to follow us, continue to
Share.
Exactly, share and
hit the likes.
All of that, man.
Watch all the ads.
2023 is gonna bring some new stuff. We're gonna have different content coming up. We're gonna be doing some different stuff. We got a lot of stuff in the works coming up, man. So I'm really anxious to see how this thing progresses in the new year, and hopefully you all will continue to ride this train because it's gonna keep on rolling.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. So with that being said, thank y'all for another Thriller Thursday. Wishing you all much joy, wealth, and prosperity into the new year.
Yeah.
And thank y'all, man. I always say, tell a friend to come on in and we can be friends.
Yeah.
Peace.
Later.
Out.